You want a sticker?
Okay.
You vote for Bernie today?
You vote for Bernie today?
Yeah. Well, a week ago.
You text your friends to go vote today?
They texted
Make
us.
sure they get out to vote.
I'll text the group chat anyway. What was that?
Y'all vote for Bernie
Yes,
today?
I
You want a
voted
sticker?
today. No, thank you.
I see you voted. Did you vote for Bernie?
Yes.
You want a sticker?
Sure.
Yes. Y'all vote for Bernie?
Yeah,
Yes. You want a sticker?
I'm fine, thanks.
Already got one.
You vote for Bernie today? You vote for Bernie today? Vote for Bernie today?
Yep.
You text your friends to make sure they get out and vote?
Yep.
If you saw me earlier, I was the guy with
It was way better when I had the stickers.
You want a sticker?
You vote for Bernie?
Yay. Did you vote today?
Yeah.
For Bernie?
Yeah.
You vote for Bernie today?
Vote for Leslie.
You want to text all your friends to make sure they know to vote too?
Use the burn of a text.
Like 10 of my friends didn't even know to vote today.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to make sure
I
everybody
sent out
knows.
messages to the 80 people I have added on the burn app.
That's insane. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
That's so cute. Yes. What is this? Oh my gosh, I need to figure out where to put this on my laptop. How long are you out here till?
Probably till like cold calls at 8
Yeah.
at the latest 8.
Y'all vote for Bernie today?
Is it just like impromptu?
Improv comedy. We do improv. We want you to do improv. Wait, did you get a bottle opener?
Oh, I. Nice. Oh, I.
Now, I'm watching on like the media, like tech consolidation and media consolidation has all affected how we.
But like it's a policy that like he's the only candidate who supports that and stuff, and like he has like hundreds of policies like this, right? But again, like he mostly wants to highlight his policy, but he has hundreds of policies. I'm just saying hundreds of policies before. It's like he mostly wants to highlight. It's like he has hundreds of ideas and stuff. Check him out. I think he's a candidate for you, candidate for everyone. Great guy all around.
Thank you.
Campus and in our community, we do a lot more stuff in education and outreach. So there's another page I put out that's like a summary of
Hello? Well, I'm glad that you are so for mine.
Okay,
I'm
too old
being
to be a
called
president?
because I'm a college
Yeah.
student myself.
Uh,
Healthcare we need as
I just
well
turned
as
21,
education
and
that needs
I
to
still
better
support
ourselves.
Bernie
Hi,
Sanders. I
is
don't think
Ronald
he's too
around?
old at all.
Bernie? I'm curious, what's something affecting you
Is Ronald
your
available?
community, or
Oh,
your
okay.
family right now that you
That's
would
young.
stand up for?
I don't think you're too old to be president.
Ronald Brown.
You're younger than
Thank you so much
Donald
for your time
Trump.
tonight, and have a great night.
Okay, have a nice
Mhm.
Hi,
day.
is James available?
Hello, is Janelle available?
Hi, is Almeda available?
Hi, I'm Ben. Hello?
Is Almeda available?
Is this Janelle?
Hi there. Is Max available?
Hi.
What's that?
I'm. Oh.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Anna.
I'm sorry. I'm glad you can. Every single time I call somebody and then they go hi and then I say hello, and then they just go, they hang up. It's crazy.
Hi, is Linda available? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm calling on behalf of his campaign. Hi, is Linda available?
Right. I'm sorry to catch
Well, I'm Connor, and I'm a volunteer with the Bernie Sanders campaign. Bernie's running for president to make our economy and our government work for all of us, not just the wealthy. Do you consider yourself a Bernie supporter?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do something right.
Oh.
And I'm always glad I tried.
Okay, I understand. Have a good night.
Absolutely. I think a lot of that is because of the disenfranchisement, and just from having this conversation with you, I'm hearing a lot of anger coming from you and how you want to change what's going on. And I would strongly encourage you to have your voice be heard and get out and vote. So the South Carolina primary is on February 29th, and Bernie Sanders wants to combat those issues that you're talking about. He wants to end disenfranchisement against minorities because he knows that it's wrong and that it shouldn't be happening in the world's wealthiest democracy.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, hi. Is James there?
Hi. Is John available?
Hello.
Is James there?
Hello?
Okay.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Really? Hi, is Shirley available?
Go ahead.
Great. Will you be able to go to that location?
It's the Bernie app, you know.
Hi, is
Hi, is
Anna
Anna available?
Hi,
Putting my friends in there.
I'm a volunteer with the Bernie
Hi, I'm Connor.
I agree that the number one priority right now is to defeat Donald Trump and get him out of office, considering what a historically terrible and dangerous president he is. And one of the many reasons that I support Bernie Sanders and I'm making calls on his behalf is because I think he is the only politician who is fearless enough, honest enough, and Bernie is really unique in the sense that he's able to unite the Democratic base and really won't be afraid to take on Donald Trump or any of his corporate interests or the establishment politicians who have been bolstering him. So if electability is something that you are concerned about, I highly encourage you to consider Bernie Sanders.
To make sure that we can have the registration forms at almost all of our
In
events
South
and stuff.
Carolina, you can go to your
So yeah, if she wants to come, I can let you know like when we have those voter registration forms.
Yeah, you could even put that like in the group meet and just say like, come bring your friends who need to get registered.
On the Diag or like in Mason Hall or something like that, because this week is the I Heart Voting Challenge week that they're doing for the Big Ten Voting Challenge. Registration at multiple locations throughout the week. It doesn't say. Go figure.
Right, they have to be somewhere.
Yeah, but if not, I'll get in touch with. We did that at the Pizza House party, right? Like with what's her name? Carolyn. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And if we like have an event that because I've just like texted basically everyone I've talked to in the past month to get them on the app. So like if I get more people who tell me they haven't registered, then we have like an event where we can register people.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And I hope you have a great rest of your night.
So we have Alan West coming next week at this exact same time. So Tuesday, 7 p.m. next week in this room. I'd like to talk about the election coming up. So we can talk about like the Iowa caucuses or the debates that have been happening. Anything you guys want, really.
Yeah, that was an interesting question. She just asked, are you guys going to vote for the weakest Democrat in the primaries, or is that a waste of a vote?
And I'm just a little hesitant to vote for like Bernie because a lot of people like for the Democrat, President Trump was like their good candidate back in 2016 to run against Hillary, and then look how that turned out for them. So I feel like that's not the greatest strategy.
Well, I think the only two plausible winners in the Democratic primary are probably Bernie or Warren. I don't think Buttigieg could win the primary.
What about Biden? Nah, I think Buttigieg should win. No, I definitely think Buttigieg should win.
Really?
Biden's out. He's done.
I don't
He's
think
toast.
Warren's going to be in
I don't think Warren is either.
Who
Who ended up winning Iowa?
Like
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg did end up winning.
Buttigieg.
Okay.
That man.
That's what I thought it was.
He
but
did
yeah.
cheat. That like there's no way he
Like
won it. Honestly,
6% the
oh
real
my
vote.
gosh.
The only way, and the only reason that he might win the Democratic debate is simply because he's gay. They always play him gay.
I think he's just young Joe Biden. Like
He's a very good speaker. He's a very, very eloquent speaker.
Nah, okay. I don't buy anything that he's saying.
No,
I don't know why.
he doesn't. He's very articulate. I don't believe him when he says
Wasn't he a
some of
Rhodes
this
Scholar?
stuff. But he's a very good speaker. There's no doubt about that.
I don't know about that.
He's
The
the
candidate
problem.
that's number one with black voters is Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
but the majority of the Democratic Party, I feel like, is more left of Biden.
Yeah.
At least the mainstream. But then, if it comes down to Biden and Trump, I'm sure they'd all back Biden.
Not everyone, but I think
Nah,
the
I
key
think
states
a lot
would.
of people-
Michigan,
yeah.
Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin.
I think a
would.
lot.
And that's what
They're gonna have way
Trump's
too many people
Establishment
saying.
Dems.
Yeah, the unions would all back him.
Right.
They didn't really back Hillary too much in 2016, and those flipped the Rust Belt states.
Well, if you just look at like the Facebook comments, like when someone posts like, "Hey, come to the Students for Bernie," or the Students for Warren, or the Students for Buttigieg, like group meeting, like the comments from the other like candidates are like brutal.
Yeah.
And like they get in huge
They're
arguments.
just funny.
Attack each other.
And I can't believe you support Joe Biden and you flaming
Yeah,
racist.
if you're like to the right of absolute communism, you're a Republican. Right? Basically.
Oh my gosh.
That would be great.
I'll be sorry.
All
All right.
Time's up, honey.
Hi there, my name is Kenny, and I'm calling on behalf of the Biden for President campaign here in Michigan. Hope you're having a great day. Official records show that you should have received your absentee ballot in the mail. We're reaching out to encourage you to return your ballot, which can be done by putting it in the enclosed envelope and dropping it in the mail, or returning it to your county clerk's office. We're hoping as well that you vote for Joe Biden, whose battle to restore the soul of the nation runs right through Michigan. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Change, folks. It's that easy.
Read the script. My name is Will Kyle, and I'm calling on behalf of the Biden for President campaign here in Michigan.
We're hoping as well that you.
Good afternoon. My name is Max Knoll, and I'm calling on behalf of the Biden for President campaign here in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
There was a voter who was swingy between Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, so I had to be like, oh, give me a second, I'm gonna pull up the issues. And
Wait, what did they say?
well, she said that I certainly gave her a lot to think about, which I guess is a good thing.
That's a good sign.
I think that's a great sign.
Yeah, she said that she really wanted someone to beat Trump, but she wanted something besides that too, which makes sense.
Like, what are you gonna do after you beat Trump?
Yeah,
I know him. Yeah.
Wait, are you a Yang supporter?
Yeah, I was the director of communications of the campaign in this area. Then he dropped out 2 days ago. So
That's actually super
He was in the
cool.
caucus.
Andrew, what are we doing with completed sheets?
you can just put it to the side or whatever. Frame it. There we go.
Frame it?
Yeah.
Well, I need to add a quote though. I need to add a quote.
Another depressing quote.
Yeah, it's thank you, I'm not interested.
Good afternoon. My name is. That's a compliment.
That's like polite.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew, and I'm calling with the Biden for President campaign here in Michigan. How are you?
Which can be done by either putting it in a closed ballot and dropping it in the mail.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. My bad.
We're hoping as well that you would vote for Joe Biden, whose battle to restore the soul of the nation runs straight.
Good afternoon. My name is Max Nolan, and I'm calling on behalf of the Biden for President campaign here in Michigan.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry to bother you.
Show that you should have received your absentee ballot mail by now. And we are reaching out to encourage you to return your ballot.
This guy just told me, get over the hump, get over the bump, and vote for Trump.
We're hoping that you had to be until that last week out. I thought he was going to be encouraging and be like, oh, you guys can make it.
No.
Survive.
What was it again, Andrew?
Get over the hump, get over the bump, and vote for Trump.
What does that mean?
Who said that?
What is
The guy that I just called, I
Are
believe.
these Democrats?
These are
supposedly people that voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016.
That's interesting.
That was Stephen Levusk.
How old is he?
65.
What a winner.
What a winner, yeah. That was,
You should have just asked.
Andrew, would you say there was an
You
exclamation?
should have asked him, was he vote for Clinton? Wait, how do we have these records? Like, isn't it? This is state of Michigan.
It's all public information.
Yeah.
Well,
But
not who
voted
they voted for, but he might be a registered Democrat because that's possible.
So yeah, okay, wait, that must be it. My bad.
So we met a rare Democrat who voted for Trump.
There's a lot of them actually.
Yeah.
Really? Who? West
Get over
Virginia
the hump, get over the bump, and vote for Trump. I just can't believe those words were
like
spoken.
ancestral Democrats.
Yeah.
They were like,
Alright.
I got through 2.5 seats.
Sweet.
By like Mark on the third one.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah.
Good to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Next time.
This is really pretty.
I mean, I would have looked cute if it was just something else.
It should be. Alright. So, for those of you whose first time it is here, basically our goal is to spark political conversation between the different sides of the political spectrum and everywhere in between. We like to say that we were started not because of, but after the 2016 election. Our founders just saw all the division on campus and they realized everything that they could to overcome that.
So, we kind of encourage you all to be open to new ideas and perspectives and really have respect for others and their experiences. They will most likely be different from yours, and again, the goal is to not have a debate or to see who wins at the end. It's really to step outside of yourself and understand why someone may not hold the same opinions as you.
So next up, we're going to have a content presentation by our wonderful VP of Content, Raj, and Michael, I believe.
As we always like to emphasize and we listen, there's no prior knowledge necessary about the policy. So you can be a housing expert or be completely new to this subject area, and we're all here to learn together. So what we've prepared is just overview of general housing policy, impartial from both sides. So to start, housing policy in the U.S. is overseen by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. This department is founded by President Lyndon Johnson in 1965 as part of his war on poverty, and is currently headed by Dr. Ben Carson.
That was interesting.
So the role.
I have an uncle who lives there. Oh, really? That's cool.
The whole area is really nice. I grew up like 20 minutes from here, so suburban Detroit.
Where?
South Lines.
Oh, okay.
So by Novi. So yeah, like they were saying, not diverse. I think we had a pie chart for like our racial diversity for our high school. It was like 95% white.
Yeah.
But, yeah, about 10,000 people. So.
Yeah.
From Bloomfield Hills, we are very white.
Okay. Yeah.
We're less white than you would think, actually. Like there are a lot of Arabs. A lot of, oh my god, I said that badly.
Yeah, you raised
I
your
am also
eyebrows,
an Arab.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, I should have clarified that. There are a lot of us there.
Issues or like initiatives and like policies that can like garner a lot of support or like attention from a lot of people, but that like as a broad policy area that it's like too nuanced to like get a coalition behind a whole plan or like perspective on the issue in particular. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think about that, or like how people think about it in general.
I think there does need to be more, I think housing is like a human right. I'm not exactly sure how to implement that. Jasper's not here. I think there's a difference between saying have government housing that people can afford versus saying everyone needs to live in government housing. I think there can and should be a spectrum.
There's mega Bernie supporters who are almost communists, and then there's mega Trump supporters who love Trump. They think Trump is the Messiah, and they're best friends, and they love each other. And everybody gets along super well.
That's love.
Isn't that shocking? That's like.
Up here. Alright, so I hope you guys all enjoy this conversation. We're going to do a quick debrief where we just ask you guys some questions about what your conversations were like. And we're just going to do 2 of them to save on time since we held you guys a little late. So first we're going to ask is, what is something you learned from members in your group? Anyone can go.
There were points where we struggled to stay on topic because we don't know a ton about the issue. So we kind of started talking about different things that also pertain in a similar realm.
So when you're looking at the topic housing, right, it seems like something that's super zoomed in. But if you think about it though, it actually has a lot of lines attached to it, because when you're talking about housing, you can't bypass topics like, for example, taxation, local development, gentrification, segregation, and the restriction on the power of the federal government and the federal budget, local budget, stuff like that. So it's not a very easy topic to form a very systematic interpretation of.
Alright, and last but not least, thank you guys all for coming out. And if you guys could scan this, we have a post-session survey. So it's just a few questions, some similar to the pre-session survey you guys filled out. And if you fill out the form, you'll be entered in a raffle to win an Amazon gift card. So that's really exciting. So yeah, please, and like the feedback really helps us make these sessions better, improve what we're doing. So yeah, thank you guys. And that's it.
Yeah, I think our capacity, yeah.
When you check in, you get one of these sheets. They're going to be out on the table, on the sign-in table. If you're a student, you get blue. If you're not a student, you get white. Nice and easy, right? Pull a list of all the people who've RSVP'd, who have signed up for this event, and then check them as they get here. And if they're a walk-in, if they did not RSVP, then we'll add them in as attendees.
And that's you, right?
Dan.
And are you a student?
We're two.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
March 10th, I want to ask you, who's ready to get to work right now to elect Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States? All right, that was pretty good. But we're gonna do it again. This time, like the future of the planet is on the line, right? So, who's ready to get to work to elect Bernie Sanders? Wonderful. Because that's what we're about to do, and that's why we're here. But I want to tell you why I'm here and why I believe so strongly in the political revolution that we're building right now, starting in 2016. I was a freshman in college, and I thought growing up all my life where I had had the constant stress of my family struggling to get by, I'm like, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to get out of this working class lifestyle. One day my dad was like, hey, you should look at this guy, this independent from Vermont. He's running for president. His name is Bernie Sanders. Before you know it, you're knocking on doors in Chicago. You're knocking on doors in Iowa. You're knocking on doors in Kalamazoo, Michigan, which is what I did. We're going to do this thing. 2020 is our moment. We got a second chance. And this time we're going to do it. With all your help. We have huge momentum nationwide. We are the top fundraiser in Q3 of all Democratic candidates, the only candidate with more individual donors than Donald Trump. We have the endorsement of the youngest and most progressive female members of Congress, AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. We have the endorsement of the National Nurses Union. We have the endorsement of the leading youth climate change group, Sunrise Movement. We have a huge national volunteer operation with over 1 million active volunteers in every congressional district in this country, and that number is only going up. So, because this campaign is all about people, the people in this room, your families, your friends, your communities, and the work we do together, please find someone in the crowd that you don't know, probably somebody sitting right next to you, or maybe in the row behind. Get together and spend 1 minute, each sharing one thing that is affecting you or your family that makes you want to be involved and help elect Bernie. This is going to be very quick, so remember, just 1 minute for each person. Go ahead.
I think time is the evidence.
So what are these handouts are like for signing up for something by the end? Oh yeah, they're for signing up for canvassing. We got
Thank you for doing that. And I want to get another show of hands. Who thinks we can win? Yeah! Love it. And we can win. This is totally within our grasp, but only if we all put in the collective work it's going to take. The best way to do that is to win big in early states like Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina, and keep the momentum up into more delegate-rich states that vote March 3rd and March 10th, like Michigan. We're off to a pretty good start because we won the first two states. Woo! Yes. Okay, so if you are a non-student ready to host or staff a staging location, stand up. Come on. Woo! Yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's go. Come on. That's great. That's great. If you are a student and you want to help lead that voter contact event, stand up. It's time to mobilize. You got
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Love to see it. Come on.
Yeah. Look at that.
It's great. This is how we win. And we need more. Who else is going to stand up and be a leader? Remember, we don't have the billions of dollars that the political establishment can pour into this election. I need all of our new staging location staff and hosts to keep standing. Look around the room to the signs that are on the walls, and go to the corner of the room that corresponds to where you live in the area.
Students over here. See your paper? Sure.
Let me guess you're gonna do this one. Now, everyone I see, I'm gonna put them to the Brownie Sandwich.
Let's do this one.
No, but what?
But yeah, we should go like 4 houses up from that upstream, and then we can have food drinks and
Alright, thanks, Liam. Alright, I'm gonna copy the exact same thing.
It's just been incredible. But now the whole healthcare thing too. I mean, that's a huge issue too. I mean, I'm one of those people where I lost everything because of an illness. You know?
Fuck your 401k.
The whole gimmick is that it's got all the voting information on the bottom of it, so that you can keep it on file. Say Medicare for all.
Ann Arbor team is in this room. Like you volunteers in this state especially have a ton of power. And y'all are really going to be what wins it for us. Like Spencer and I are not going to be able to get it done in Lansing, Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti. That's going to be y'all. So now it's the end, but we want to document just how great and diverse this community is. So if everybody could fill in as close as possible for like this. Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. Amazing. 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 This is so good.
I will not go. Okay. All right. If you wanted to start explaining what you were telling me the other day about like potential paths moving forward, things to do in Michigan, we're very excited to hear.
Okay. Well, let me. I will do that, and I'm pleased to see that there is still a very active group. I'm getting contacted by all sorts of people all over the state. So now that Andrew has suspended his campaign, we need to. I should say, I don't know if we need to, but I want to put things in place that will be not just broadening the knowledge and the understanding of Andrew's proposals like UBI, the Freedom Dollars, and things like that, but also be in position to support him if he is called on to become a vice presidential nominee, which is what I believe is going to happen. But really was pleased to get that notice from you, Carolyn, that you guys were having this meeting.
Thank you.
I think our connection is dying, but I will send you information once we talk about it, and we can update you.
Excellent. Sounds
All right.
good. I'll keep you informed, Carolyn, and you pass it on to your folks.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
So when I say yang, you say
2020.
yang. When I say yang, you say yang. Talk to you later.
See
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye. Thanks, Jack.
So cute.
Yeah.
All right, thoughts?
Is he a campaign official or is he just like some guy?
No, he's just the volunteer organizer.
Okay. I mean like not in the campaign officially.
No.
Okay, that's cool.
Like regional organizers.
What's your name?
Yeah.
And he and Van Jones can continue their romance.
Why do you drop
Make a
out?
turn,
Just quickly to like kind of bring back the discussion that we keep on just not doing is, are y'all gonna put Yang as your write-in or your candidate, or are you gonna vote for another person?
I'm not 100% sure yet, but I still feel like Yang is the only candidate who really earns my vote.
So you don't believe in voting for lesser of two evils, basically. What you're saying.
To a certain extent, yes, I do, but
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a boundary for you where it's like,
But
if
I
one
don't
candidate
see-
is bad enough.
yeah, but for me, like the evils are not like obvious. It's not obvious like who's
Right or wrong.
worse. Yeah.
Right. The way I see it is like,
As a conservative, what is your opinion on the current race?
Okay, the current
I
rank.
want to know your opinion. Your opinion is the most important because
Oh, okay.
especially your family. What is your
As
My
the one
family?
everyone's trying
My
to
family's
vote.
voting for Trump 100%. They
yeah.
are.
So what is their opinion of the Democratic race? And like,
They think that they're all bad shit crazy. They like Andrew Yang a lot though.
what is the reason? What is the main reason you think your parents support Trump for?
Trump? Oh, because they're like really conservative and religious, and they.
So they want to see like
So-
a conservative judge. They want to see like.
Yeah, I mean, like they're
pro-life.
socially liberal, but they're like really like pro-life and stuff like
Okay,
that.
I see.
Yeah, they like that he's like direct, I guess. No bullshit.
Do they think the government is like? Do they think that Washington is like corrupt? And,
Yeah,
like,
they do.
okay. Do they think Trump is like part of that or separate from that?
I think he's separate from it, but I think he does some dumb shit sometimes too. They think he's better than like everyone else, I guess. It's kind of weird.
Climate change should be enough of a reason to vote against Trump.
Are you voting for Yang still or?
Oh, well, I'm just trying to figure it out myself, right? Because like the way I see the decision is, do I vote Yang to make a point, right? To just like have him be a little blip on the thing that gets like 1 or 2%, so that someone pays attention and recognizes his ideas are worth merit. People are voting for him still, even though he dropped out, and like look into it and just sort of hope that starts some momentum. Or do I just, become another voter who wants to beat Trump?
But we have to
Right.
be real here. Like, if he gets like 1 or 2%, you really think people are
I
gonna
don't
be like,
think.
oh my god, like he's
I don't
out.
think anyone's going to be, oh my God, but I think that like policy, I think there's going to be enough people paying attention to his ideas that they'll start to consider them for their own platforms.
Like, I think he could have done a lot better in Iowa. Like, I think there was like massive like corruption on like the small like individual caucus.
I can't really.
It's not like Andrew could have won Iowa, but
It's not like
he could have gotten a lot more votes.
It's not like Bernie was number 1 in first alignment, and then after realignment, he was like number 7th place. I mean, then you'd be like, what is going on here, right?
Yeah.
But if it's something more of like just like you can't tell who's first because it's so close, and then you help the person who is second, yeah, you can make an argument for that. But
So
I'll just summarize. Out of the 1,700 precincts, not all of them gave the rules of the caucus accurately. Like they weren't trained properly. Like they weren't trained in a proper way, and a lot of them didn't know the rules exactly how they were. Because a lot of things also changed. Like DNC also changed a lot of these
Changed the rules
recently.
yeah.
So maybe these people were even chairs for caucuses in the
For
past,
years and they just went.
but they just already like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing, and then they didn't take into account, or maybe they weren't notified properly about the rule changes. I told you this when we were in Iowa. Like, I was talking to people. It's like I went from the poorest, most rundown neighborhoods, and I've talked to people with mansions with their family names like carved on them.
Yeah.
And the difference I noticed was that when I went to the really bad neighborhoods and I talked to people, they talked about like, oh, like I'm an ex-felon, or I have a disability and I can't go to caucus, but I like him. Or they tell me like I'm working 3 jobs and my employer won't give me like time off the caucus or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you tell me all these kind of things. Like, it's like, there's so many barriers and stuff to caucusing. It's just overwhelming. And then when I go to like the mansion with like, all that stuff, they see the caucus as more of like a Saturday night, like night out. Like, it's like a game. It's like entertainment. It's like a game. It's like they're just meeting, chilling with their homies, like in their community.
Yeah.
Like just meeting.
Chilling with the peasants.
like there's just like, no, they're just chilling with their neighbors. There are other big mansion, like neighbors, you know what I mean? So they see it as like a night out, it's like fun, it's like a get together, it's like think of it like Thanksgiving or whatever.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, I noticed the way that people looked at the caucus is so different if you go from super wealthy neighborhoods to super poor neighborhoods. Because the super poor neighborhoods, they see it as like an obstacle, a burden, just hard to do, hard to put in their schedule. And the people who are really wealthy were like, oh, it's like entertainment. Like I'll take my night out tomorrow to check what's going on in my community.
It's really sad because the people who
So
can't go to caucus actually
need it the most. No. So because that's what we claim politics is about, right? It's about helping
everyone,
but mostly people who are disenfranchised, whatever.
But it'll be interesting.
I really wanted Andrew to survive by Michigan primaries, so we could bring him here because he wanted to come here.
He would have 100%.
No, he would have. He would have.
When I got elected 5 years ago, CNN show, and the person got me with a gotcha question. Are you going to support the president's TPP? And I said, no, I'm not. I love this president, but my job is to represent the people of the 12th district. Mm-hmm.
Hi, so first of all, thank you for being here. So this is just a question, there's no right or wrong. So I'm an international student from South Korea. So technically I'm not your constituent. So my question is, do you feel any sort of some kind of responsibility for non-citizens who are living in your district? And if so, what are the ways that we can make our community a better place for anyone to live in, regardless of citizenship status?
How do we help? I had a meeting with all of the departments that are working with international students, talked about the process, talked about how we helped if they needed to talk to immigration, etc. And I take that responsibility very seriously. Maybe 2 years ago, Mark Cecil called me and asked me if I'd meet with a group of international students who were concerned about what was happening, and they were afraid to go home because they were afraid if they went home they wouldn't be allowed to come back into this country. There was a death in a family. I work all those cases case by case, but I met with the students to hear their concerns and to try to take and carry them back. Mm-hmm.
Given the rising cost of college nowadays, and a topic very important to us right now.
It's very important.
What is your take on free college policies, specifically Governor Whitmer's Michigan Opportunity Scholarship? Is it strong enough, or?
No, it's a beginning. I'm somebody that look. If we gave everybody free college tuition in the country, it would greatly add to the debt. But I think we need to be looking at the state's programs where they do free 2-year school. But should Warren Buffett's children get free college tuition? I don't, but I do think that a lot of middle class families, it's a struggle, and for a mother of 2. Now she's more likely to be able to. The children of that parent at the poverty line is probably more likely to be able to get financial help. It's the people in between who are working their hearts and souls out. I'm sorry, I don't have coronavirus.
And how do we bring good quality, high-paying jobs back to the U.S.?
I actually think that we have a current crisis in this country that people aren't thinking about. I don't want to scare people, but I am now part of a task force that's really studying this. So we have the coronavirus. It's going to impact our economy this year. 90% of the generic drugs for this country come from China. I like action. I like results.
So we're going to be downstairs in the Anderson room with Mayor Christopher Taylor and a couple members of City Council. If you all would like to have a little bit of a further conversation, we'll be there for the next 45 or so minutes. But we're going to head down.
Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad to have the chance to, without it being, the other thing is, this is my whole thing in life right now, you can disagree agreeably.
Yeah.
So
I'm proud to represent the University of Michigan YAF chapter tonight as we host Lieutenant Colonel Alan West.
The Second Amendment is the Second Amendment in the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution. Either it is a right or it is not. Let's talk about this thing called constitutional carry, which is permitless carry. I'm going to pull something out here and I'm going to share it with you. Here is my Texas concealed carry license. But I want you to think about this. As you're sitting here today, where does your constitutional right end? And I think this is an important conversation that you need to have here on this campus. Not coming in here with these preconceived notions, ready to yell and scream at each other, but just ask yourselves, what if? What if someone comes driving down State Street, running over students, and jumps out with a knife? What's going to happen? How long will it take for someone to be able to respond to that threat? You ain't armed. Your campus police aren't armed. And I gotta tell you something, that's really stupid. So how long does it take for the Ann Arbor police to get here? Young lady here has an incredible t-shirt, Protect Kids, Not Guns. Let me tell you why that's very near and dear to my heart. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, was in the congressional district that I represented. And on that day when that shooting happened, I had friends whose kids were in that school. We should be protecting our kids. We should never let our kids be targets. And that's you kids too. God bless you all. What are your questions?
Hi, Colonel. My name's Charles. Thank you for coming. And my question is, what do you think is the best strategy for students to eventually get some sort of campus carry policy on this campus, which doesn't have one?
You got a student government, you got a student body, go through them first. They're supposed to be your representatives. This is, I guess, a representative democracy here, not a tyranny. And understand, this is not about right, left, Republican, Democrat, progressive, socialist, conservative. This is about your safety, your protection. And then it's got to get to the school administration. You guys are putting yourselves at risk. And the sad thing is that you willingly put yourselves at risk. None of you can protect yourselves. Your campus police, those aren't campus police. That's like that guy, what was that, mall cop? I mean, he's right there, no mall cop. You know, little freaking walkie-talkie. I mean, what the heck, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the final question.
Hey, man.
Were you on the NRA board when Philando Castillo was murdered?
When was that? I'm on my second 3-year term of the NRA board.
I want to say it was in 2015 or 2016?
I came on in 2016.
So I'm really curious to learn your perspective on why the NRA was so silent when Philando Castillo was murdered by a police officer.
I'd have to go and look that one up, and I will find a way to get back in touch with you.
Okay.
Because I don't know the nature of the
Would you
case.
like my email?
Oh, we'll figure it out. We'll get with the YAF people here.
Okay.
All right, fair enough?
Okay.
All right. It's your right to be able to protect and defend yourself. And if you give up that right, then you have just given up your first inalienable right that Jefferson wrote about in the Declaration of Independence. That is life. God bless you all. Go blue. Okay, you may go now.
Everyone, hopefully I'm not interrupting anyone's call. Good, okay. So, it seems like a lot of people have already gotten started, which is great. Just make sure that you go to this link because especially important is I think it's on step 2 on there. There's another link to a Google form to fill out, and that's how we actually know that people have called, and we can get our total tally, see where people called from. As we all get calling and it gets loud, feel free to use the hallway. think that's it.
I'm calling to talk to you about my top priority, which is climate change and addressing climate change bipartisanly. And that bipartisan solution is the Energy Innovation and Carbon Difference Act of 2019, also known as HR 763. It is being currently reintroduced in the U.S. House of Representatives right now, and it has 75 co-sponsors. I'm calling to ask you today to co-sponsor this important climate legislation when it is reintroduced in the Senate. Thank you for all that you've been doing.
Thank you for coming.
I'm calling to talk to you today about climate change because I believe a bipartisan approach to this issue is the only way that legislation is going to get passed in the House and the Senate. And the Bipartisan Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act of 2019.
So I was really happy to see that Senator Stabenow recently joined the Senate Bipartisan Climate Solutions Caucus. That's awesome. We definitely need more bipartisan support for climate change going forward, which is why I'm especially interested in HR 763, which
my senator didn't have a mailbox. She just said call back from
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
As climate change is a super high priority issue for me. So I don't know if I'm gonna vote for.
I wanted to include HR 763, the Energy
Have you applied yet?
Carbon Dividend Act.
Alright, I called them all.
No, cover your address here. It's the best first step to addressing climate change. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking my calls.
Who elects the Politburo? You got a real dictatorship there? Of course you have a dictatorship in Cuba. What I said is what Barack Obama said in terms of Cuba, that Cuba made progress on education. Yes, I think, really? Really?
Yes,
literacy programs are bad. What Barack Obama said is they made great progress on education and healthcare. That was Barack Obama. Occasionally, it might be a good idea to be honest about American foreign policy. And that includes the fact that America has overthrown governments all over in Iran, and when dictatorships, whether it is the Chinese or the Cubans, do something good, you acknowledge that. But you don't have trade love letters.
Mayor Bloomberg, a key element of your response to failing schools in New York City is a dramatic increase in public charter schools. As president, would you pursue that same strategy and seek to expand charter schools nationwide?
We have the charter schools are mixed in with the non-charter public schools, because our charter schools are public schools as well.
There was a good framing of the question because it made him have to say it.
The other day, when I came into office, 0 New York City schools were in the top 25 of the state. When I left, 23 out of 25 were from New York City.
The New York public school system is fucked up. I don't know how you can defend it.
Good education, and rather than just talk about it in New York,
Can you talk to overeducated, underemployed people ever? Like, a lot of the people are going to graduate from this university. I want you to know how much I love Gayle King. Like, I want to be best friends with her and Oprah so bad.
I believe I'm the only person on this stage who believes in reparations for slavery. Something happened. We should have a formal commission.
But he says that, like, that's a great thing he believes it, but he says it, and he it's like, I'm great on race. Here, and then that's all he says.
Please try to keep to the time. Senator Klobuchar.
Oh, Joe.
Senator Klobuchar.
When did Joe Biden wake up?
Over here today.
Somebody gave him an
Mr.
Adderall.
Vice President, will you close the borders to Americans who have been exposed to the coronavirus?
I think a lot of it's very interesting topic to discuss. Because it's especially since we're in an urban area. Like should we send everyone to Greenland and that closes its ports?
But we want to give
So yeah, Greenland, Madagascar, Okinawa, just like the most like isolated islands in the world. Cyprus.
In the White House today, we have a self-described great genius. Self-described. And this great genius has told us that this coronavirus is going to end in 2 months.
have the organization we need.
My Nana
This
was
is a very serious thing.
She was like,
It
she was
just
so
seems
scared about
progress
coronavirus. She was like, next time you're
because
next
people
time
are really
you're
worried that they
check to
should
see
be.
if they
We
have
want
face
everybody to
masks. And I was
respond.
like,
We're
why?
gonna
She
talk
was like,
about that in our next
coronavirus
segment
is
before I
coming.
leave you
And I
on
was
the
like, I
Yorkers
don't think
living
you need
longer
to be
because of your
concerned.
policy.
And she's like, oh, like,
There's no question about that.
I think
Before
it's
I
gonna hit
left,
us. Trump got
life
rid of all the agencies that
expectancy in New
deal
York
with us. I
City
was like,
had
Trump
grown
did not
by
get rid of the
3 years
CDC.
during
It
our
still
12 years in
exists.
office, such that when I left,
Like,
it was 3 years
funding
greater than the national average.
hilarious. The only reason he knows about coronavirus is because the CDC released a statement.
One of the things we have.
And I am not looking forward to a scenario where it comes down to Donald Trump with his nostalgia for the social order of the 1950s and Bernie Sanders with the nostalgia for the revolutionary politics of the 1960s. This is not about what coups were happening in the 1970s or 80s. This is about the future. This is about 2020. We are not going to survive or succeed, and we're certainly not going to win by reliving the Cold War. And we're not going to win these critical
Here for the rally, main entrance down this way.
No, and I'm like, sorry, I don't. And that's
No.
civic doing.
You're here for the rally. The entrance is down at this other end. If you're here for the rally, then the water bottle is right there. The line starts down this way.
Anybody need a break, Joel?
So the Burn app is a revolutionary tool. No other campaign has anything like it. If everyone here reaches out to just 5 friends, it could make the difference between winning and losing on Tuesday. So remember, download Burn, talk to your friends about voting for Bernie, and let's win Michigan. Thank you so much.
And the powerful and moneyed and conservative parts of our politics began to scramble. They began to panic. Because what he started to do was put together a rainbow coalition of everyday Americans. We have survived apart. We must learn how to live together. This moment we are here because we have been separated from each other. As Sister Rashida Tlaib here in Michigan says, we are not divided, we are disconnected. That is at its core our problem today, and that means that the antithesis of that is to connect, to fight for someone you don't know, to love our neighbor, to bring people into the cause, to listen, to adapt, to open a posture of acceptance. That is what we must do in order to win on Tuesday. Reverend said one more thing. That it is coalitions that win big victories. Coalitions that win big victories. So ask yourselves, who are we building coalitions with? How am I coalition building today? We must bring more people into this movement. We must shed the unnecessary clothes of cynicism and exclusion, and we must turn towards an embracing posture where all people are welcome into a people's movement of the United States of America to establish free healthcare, to establish Medicare for all, to fight for a living wage, to demand humanity at our borders. That is what this movement is all about. Michigan, we have a choice to make. And with that, I'd like to introduce to you Senator Bernie Sanders.
We believe in education. And as president, we are going to change national priorities and put education way up there at the top of the list. And if you think big and not small, you ask yourselves a few questions. How does it happen that we have a dysfunctional child care system in America where working families cannot find good quality, affordable child care? We're going to change that with high quality, affordable, universal child care. We're going to triple funding for low-income Title I schools. And because we believe in education, we believe in teachers. And I hope many of you who are in college or graduate school will give thought to becoming teachers. We need great teachers. And when we talk about education, what we mean is that K through 12, free public education, K through 12 is not good enough anymore. 4 years ago, I talked about making public colleges and universities like this one tuition free. And people said that was a radical, crazy idea. Well, all over the country, states, cities, communities are moving to free public colleges and universities. And as president, that is exactly what we will do in every state in this country. And if Congress, against my vote, could bail out the crooks on Wall Street, and if Trump and his friends could give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1%,
The polls are now open. Say it louder. 3.
Polls are now open.
Sorry, still first one.
Have you voted yet today? Yeah. Great, great. Remind 3 friends to vote. Excellent. Voted? Great, remind friends. That's the sequence. Are they voting? Do they know where to vote? All that kind of stuff. Have you reminded your friends to vote? Have you registered to vote? Right, have you voted? Great. Remind 3 friends to vote too. And they can register even today. Yeah. Right. There they are. Well, I can't let there be bagel bombs.
Oh, there you go. You gotta take one of these.
I'm good for now.
Thank you. Bagel bombs for democracy. Sending students to the polls here at the Michigan League.
Have you voted yet today?
I'm 7 years old and I want my third president to be very sensitive because it's going to stop climate change and racism.
Be like, you're voting for Bernie.
Okay.
Yeah, just go straight to Bernie. And if they say yes, then you ask, do you know where your polling location is? That's a really good way to figure out who has their shit together and who doesn't. Yeah, we're trying to get out the vote, and the number one objective is making sure people, because like if you survey 100 students on this campus, 60 of them are voting for Bernie. We just have to make sure. Sorry, that was the way. We have to make sure everybody knows where they're voting.
Maybe with the general election.
Dr. Walsh would be very.
I know. Dr. Walsh would be incredible.
He would be devastated.
I know.
You don't have
so
like
I get a hype from it.
an hour, 2 hours to go to your polling location.
No, I've been a busy day.
Where do I go to like register and vote?
Oh, okay, so you need to register.
Yeah.
So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go to the city clerk's office in Ann Arbor.
Are you planning on supporting Bernie in the primary today? Oh, I love it. Cool. Remind your friends to vote.
They'll get you registered and good to go. Do you mind in a non-speaking if I take down your phone number, your email, I can follow up with you, and if you have any issues, like just call me and let me know. Oh, I'd like to add that we are a corona-friendly campaign. We don't hand out flyers, we just have people scan the barcodes with their phone. I have hand sanitizer in my very Ann Arbor appropriate fanny pack, and I'm not trying to be edgy, this is just literally the only fanny pack I own, and it's very useful.
Maybe they've gotten so used to it that they could be doing something.
Okay.
Do you have
Oh, sick.
Okay, you can do it the second. Yeah.
Do you have an ID such as an M card?
Yep.
No pictures.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. I know that a lot of students.
Have you voted today? No? Are you planning on it? You're not sure how? Are you registered in Michigan? No. Okay, okay.
I know I'm supposed to go to like the city hall or something.
Yeah, you're supposed to go to the county clerk's office, which is on Main. Main, and it's like right across from that liquor store. Yeah, I don't know. It's like by Crazy Wisdom's here. It's totally walkable. Yeah, it's Main and Ann. East Ann, right across this room. Where are you? I think they're taking, it looks like it closes at 4:30. Yeah, 4:30. So you've got like an hour and a half. Where are you currently registered? New York? Well, you can also vote in New York. That wouldn't be too bad. We're gonna need New York people too. Yeah, I don't know. If you have time, go and do it. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, man.
Hey.
So I've been hanging up posters all day about registration and stuff.
Okay, cool.
So I made sure that these are not candidate or party specific, so it's very, very clear that it's not related to either party or candidate.
Yeah.
So they're very, very much, what do you call it? Able to put them up in places that say it's just information.
Politics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one thing that I found a lot of people didn't know is that if they're not registered, they can still vote.
Yeah, they can go to the county clerk's office.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And there's actually a group of people who are shuttling people to
word.
the
Okay.
clerk's office, and they have
Every
shuttles
15
leaving every
minutes.
15 minutes
Sweet.
from the front of the league. So
Okay,
if you want to take one of those
please,
and just
please.
have that information,
Yeah,
and if you
yeah.
have this QR code, you can have them scan it, and that'll have all the information about if they want to go there themselves. This is my phone number down here if they want to text me or call me.
Okay,
Texting
cool.
actually would be the best, but
Okay.
that'd be a good way to do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
Oh, see, I thought you were a Bernie supporter. No. Very much.
Yeah, it was. I liked what I said when he was like, you know, they say in Michigan to fix the damn roads. Now let's fix the damn country or something like
Yes,
that.
that was a great quote.
I was like, oh man.
I'm so happy I got to see Gretchen for the first time. Oh my god.
Oh, that was the
love
first
her.
Hi, are you voting for Bernie today? Were there any issues at your polling location or anything like that?
No, they had snacks.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
I literally went to the city clerk today.
Okay,
The line
yeah.
was 2 hours
How were
long.
the lines? Yeah.
Really, really long.
Okay.
But
And then were people walking away from the lines? Okay, yeah. So
they
what-
saw the line and they were like, fuck this, I'm not doing it. And the line for me wasn't even that long.
Okay.
But then it started like going outside and wrapping around the entire like city clerk office.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the
Yeah.
information. Thanks for the support.
You got it.
Oh, gee! It's my fault.
What should I do?
Oh my god! I expected to get more like Trump supporters like haggling me, but I keep getting Biden people.
Wait, I haven't seen any. Where are they?
I like two people while I was standing over there came up to me and like one made like an offhand comment that was like all like if Bernie wins like something about like the government being like ruined or something, and he said something about like pro Biden.
Yeah, our government's great when it's run by corporatists and career politicians.
I firmly believe that. Who was it? Was it Rousseau or the other thinkers of the Renaissance who based?
There were a lot of thinkers in the Renaissance.
Yeah, the one that said all men are in all men. Yes, this includes women. It's just the generalization of the time. Are inherently evil and will always do bad in the end. But the second one, which I firmly believe in, is all men are genuinely good, and in the end of the day, we will all aim to do what's right.
I mean, if we're talking about oligarchs, that's actually something that's really much more of a product of, say, major capitalism when you have non-broken monopolies, not necessarily a socialist thing, which is, these are actually slightly different things.
Yes and no. Looking at, because if you look at socialism, because Karl Marx was the founder of the socialist philosophy.
Yeah, I've gotten Rousseau quoted at me.
Rousseau? I love Jean-Jacques.
Here, how about you do this? Well, thank you. Nice talking to you.
Yes, nice talking to you too.
I mean, I would just think about innocent versus guilty, and that sort of dichotomy. I understand where you're coming from, but I would just think about the people who do need the help.
Yes, I also understand where you're coming from as well. Don't think it's just one-sided.
It's
Text your friends, make sure they get out and vote.
Yep.
You vote for Bernie today? Text your friends, make sure they go and vote. So basically, it's called vote tripling. We ask people to text 3 of their friends to go vote, and we try to make sure that they vote for Bernie. So that way, if they had 3 friends who weren't gonna vote, now we have 3 more votes. Vote for Bernie today?
I'll take another sticker though. I already did, but here's another one.
Thank you so much. Voted. They kind of give us like a stank face, like
the Trump supporters did?
No, the Trump supporters gives to us like a really mean face, like for me that's
kind of funny.
Yeah. It's kind of scary too, cause that's pure hate. Like most of my family is like undocumented. Like come on, like I'm trying to like help them. I'm trying to like tell them please like. They need their citizenship. Why do you want like a certain specific group to live in fear? I don't like. I'm here for my mom. She's worked so hard to get me here at this university, and I want her to I want her to feel like secure and safe. Like right now, she's living in fear of being taken by ICE, and I just don't. That's not. What was that?
Are you a dreamer?
I'm not a dreamer.
You're undocumented?
No, I'm not a dreamer. My mom is undocumented, so like all the organizing that I do is for her, only for her. Like she's literally the real MVP for my family. Jalbert, vote today? She's not really. It's mostly like just ignoring, and then like shake of the heads. But not really. I think it's pretty cool. Like I like personally, I have like a lot of anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
So right now I'm like, okay, I need to keep that down in order to like kind of go out there and put my best foot forward.
Once you do it a while,
it gets more comfortable once I actually have like some experience. But not yet.
It's the first time you've done this kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, for sure. I only kind of like phone banked. I've never kind of like canvassed before, but this is the first time I'm kind of like just asking people like, hey, have you voted before? Or, like, yeah.
That's great.
So it's like my first try, and I hope I'm doing good, but
I think you're doing great.
Thank you.
You text your friends to make sure they vote?
You want a sticker?
You vote for Bernie?
Yeah.
America return to normal. It's literally make America great. That's what they have been told. It's to keep America great.
Bro, you're Jewish, right?
Yeah.
Biden is the biggest Zionist out there. Biden is our savior for Israel. Savior.
I'm telling you, I'm not sure if Bernie's going to be viable.
Israel.
I know. Bernie isn't Jews. He's pissed off the Latinos. He's pissed off. He's going to piss off the old people. He's already pissed off the old people.
Unless they're, oh no, there are a lot of old socialists. Have you been to an IYSSE meeting? Like, the majority of the people are like at least 40, 50 years old.
We're up 11, baby! Let's go, old people! I love boomers now. Okay, boomer. They're okay.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Wow.
15%! 15%! 15%! 15%! 15%! I'm not sick of his. I don't miss his YouTube ads. I don't miss the meme first. I miss the meme team.
Wow! Look, wait, guys, look. 1 percentage point. And
1%.
But yeah, I do disagree with a lot of the things that they say. You know, like I feel like Biden should not just be the candidate for like neoliberalites. Biden should be the candidate for like all Americans, and that's like the number one reason I'm supporting him is because Biden is the candidate for all Americans. And I disagree. I mean, I don't know. I want to get involved in the political process, but I'm not sure I agree with all the stuff they're saying. Yeah.
We're going to see a key race alert before they announce it.
We're all They're gonna call Iowa.
It's gonna happen anyway, right? Let's go.
Doing right now, if you were president of the United States, I think you have to give people an opportunity now to look at you as president and compare you to Donald Trump.
But I would not do that. I would not do that.
You can do
Hey,
both.
listen, I think his main appeal, Biden, is that he wants to bring the country together and heal it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when you got a pandemic going on, somebody who's a healer has a lot of appeal. But the first
You describe that as a healer.
So we got to take a quick break. We're going to have more, and we're waiting for Joe Biden to speak. We'll be right back.
So you're gonna just like talk to the camera because there's no rally?
Hey guys.
Be like State of the Union. State of the primary.
From dry and dull to visibly healthy in just 14 days.
But that's the shoe he does get up.
Really said no
I was chairman of the campaign.
That is going to be part of the debate.
Well, just one thing to add is that you talked about the impact on the election. I think you mean in terms of like the issue set, but there's also physically how are people going to go to the poll?
It's hard. It's hard when like you expect one thing and you get another, you know. And I will say that like we've done an awesome job on the campaign. Like y'all have literally turned out so many, like gotten so many people registered, and that's insane. But it's like at the same time we're working against a system that is literally disenfranchising the people that we are registering, like to the point where like my registration went missing, just completely. It was gone. It was nothing. Like I did everything that I could to I had to go redo it. But it's like when you're up against like systemic changes, it's not just one fight. It's multiple battles in one large war.
Do you know how much got lost?
From our batch,
Yeah,
or from in general.
Wait, is it just us?
I don't think it's just us. That's the thing. It's like I can speak to like what I know, which is like the forms that I turned in and everything. But what I was dealing with today and yesterday was we like went through, we called all the we called everyone that we registered saying, hey, double check your registration because people's registrations are getting lost and just gone, absolutely gone. And then I know people in the county clerk's office, so I was like, hey, can you like check this list against your internal services? And they checked it, and I mean, some people were able to re-register in time, but there were 6 registrations that were just, and 7 plus me, that were just completely gone. Like no record of them, lost between the county and the city. And that is what's scary to me. It's not like it's not just like
to the pain and stepping
when I was doing it yesterday, that's
many
7 out of 62. That's 10%. You
You
scale that up, like that is votes. That is votes that can win the election.
Yeah.
And that's what
Right. I mean, Van is so great about speaking their pain, and I really appreciate that. And Andrew, for you to say the same thing about yours, as well. And I just hope that all.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
What do you want to bake? You can't put that either.
I mean, just the rest of the bags, could we?
Yeah, we can put the bags, I think. In your bedding if you want it.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Then we'll do it.
Yeah. You're actually like very close to it, so really, yeah.
I'm all about pictures if you're okay.
Get it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, we'll still probably be connected through your office.
That's true. All right.
I guess I like the idea of like when someone's sick, like opening up that conversation with them in that moment of like what they need and like what, but also what the house needs. Like, because it might be pretty individual based on they have a single or not, or what we can do to accommodate. Shani, and then
I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm wondering if we could like think about like people that are in doubles, like if we don't want to quarantine them together, like the person who is like not yet exhibiting symptoms and may not be sick should be the one to leave the room, because like this person has just been like sitting, like all of their germs are there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it makes sense for like that person to isolate in their room and the person who's not yet exhibiting symptoms to like move somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like 2 seconds. I would just like to use that as another iteration of why people who can move out should move out, because if we're gonna have people in doubles getting sick and then we have nowhere to put them, it's really helpful when people who can move out do move out. I know that sucks. And we haven't gotten to that point yet, but like we will, probably.
Has anyone like gotten released from the rest of their contract yet? Okay.
No, but Bree's in that process, and I can follow up with her because people might also be interested in like what that looks like. Are you saying like if she doesn't have to pay rent for the last like month?
Yeah, I'm saying like I would not want to be losing like over $600.
Yeah.
Like,
It's up to you. It's like an individual choice, obviously. Like no hate. Like do what you need to do. All right. So how do people feel about sort of like what we have so far for when someone gets sick, and then also like preventive measures and like just like writing that up and posting it, and then voting on the amenities purchase of the thermometer?
I feel like disposable covers or the laser gun one. I feel like disposable covers is probably the best.
Okay. Okay. So a disposable tipped thermometer.
Yeah, so this is the second thing that I maybe we can put up to a vote. I think we should do mandatory house checks with the thermometer once per day, because, and I'll say, let me explain the rationale for this. No one wants to be put in isolation for 2 weeks, and if I feel like my forehead's warm, but then I know, oh wait, hold on, shit, I'll be in isolation for 2 weeks. If it's a mandated check thing, I feel like we can hold people accountable, and I feel like people, I just don't see why not to do it, because even if you can have a fever but not feel like you have a fever, right? Isn't that a thing?
I definitely think that people should be checking their temperatures regularly, like once a day. I think that we should err on the side of like nobody is going to be like, oh, I might be sick, but I don't want to be in in isolation, so I'm going to not make sure. Like I think that we should like trust that everybody wants to be like responsible in the situation and won't have that sentiment.
Yeah, in terms of that, I think, echoing Shani, like, I think that we need to be, like, I understand that we need to be trusting of each other, but we also need to hold each other accountable because this is, like, a very serious thing. So just being very mindful and cognizant of what your actions, and this is more on the side of, like, preventative measures now, but, like, being very mindful of, like, where you're going and how it's going to affect the house and being very, very responsible.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.